when you got sober the first time, what was the impetus then?
Well, I was with a guy who was he was a crack addict, and we would run around like crazy. And one night we had peed the bed, but the stain was in the middle, so we couldn't figure out who did it. And so we were arguing over who peed the bed, and then we realized that's bad.
Yeah.
We should probably go get some help. But he, introduced me to a sobriety that I could do for quite 7 or 8 years. It was actually fine. But then, it just got kind of dull, and I wasn't really involved, and I was like not that invested. And so I just did a bunch of mushrooms, which was very weird after being sober for that long. To do a bunch of mushrooms is super crazy.
That was the relapse. Like, describe it. Who were you with? Like, what happened?
I was with a bunch of friends. I just given an egg chair. You know those egg chairs? They're kind of 60s and they're white and they look like an egg.
Yeah. Totally.
There's speakers inside. So I'd given one to an artist, and I went to his loft, and we were all tripping out over their crazy furniture. And somebody handed me like a Jamba Juice filled, like an orange smoothie filled with psilocybin mushrooms.
Right.
And I just drank the whole thing just because I was like, whatever. Okay.
You had been completely sober up to that moment.
Yeah.
For 6 or 7 years.
For 7 years, yeah. And really, and not just that, I was raw and vegan. I mean, all of these restrictions that I put on my life. But, and then I was really high, and it was really weird.
It must have been very intense. But what about Bill W., like the guy who founded AA? In the 60s, he decided he could take acid and still be sober. Like, did you have any sort of myth like that in your head at the time?
I think so. And then there was always that thought of like, well, they tell you if you go out, you'll die. And I didn't die. And then I judged the entirety of all of it by that kind of thing of like, I didn't die, so they must all be wrong.